The question remains how to find the perfect sketchbook for urban sketching. I've been urban sketching for a long time now, and I have tried different types of sketchbooks, different brands, different sizes, different bindings, different everything. And today I want to help you to find the perfect sketchbook just for you. We all have different ways to select a sketchbook. I want to give you some insights on a dozen of different brands that I have tried and used outside during my trips and what I think about each of them. There is also a blog article with a table where I have all the criteria for all the sketchbooks. So if you want to dig deeper, you have the link in the description under the video. And there is no particular order. I'm just taking my pile, getting the first on top of it, and show you how it works, what are the main features of this sketchbook, and what I think about it, because all the features you can get them on a product listing, but what I think about it, it's certainly more important. Not because I am important, but because I have tested several of them, so I can compare and give you what I really think about it. And you know me, I always tell what I think really about a product, because I'm not sponsored, so I can say whatever I want. The first one is this small one. It's a square format, size of a hand. And the good thing is it has toned paper. It comes in different colors. The one I have is tan, and tan is just great if you are using gouache because it will really pop out on the paper. Watercolor is a bit more difficult to use on this kind of paper because it's not exactly watercolor paper, so you don't get to have the colors fusing very well. You will get harsh lines and cauliflower effect. So if you like it, that's great. If you don't, maybe this is not the kind of sketchbook you will get. But if you are using gouache, it really works very well with gouache. And good thing you have a ribbon to match the page where you're at. You don't have a pocket at the end, and you do have an elastic band. And I don't know for you, but I like to have this elastic band. I think it's pretty convenient when you are outside. And also the good thing is when you are painting outside, you can still place the elastic band on the second page so it won't move with the wind, because sometimes the weather is a bit funny with you and doesn't really help. So all in all, I think I like this one, and it's also hardbound cover, which is pretty convenient. So good one for gouache and markers maybe. A bit of watercolor is fine, but not the most convenient for watercolor, I would say. Second one is this one by Clairefontaine, which is a French brand, and not all of you will be able to find it easily. I know in the US it's kind of difficult to find. What I like about this one is the cover. The cover is fabric, so you can paint it, add anything you want on it. I haven't done it yet, but it will come eventually. There is an elastic band, and there is a slight pocket here where you can have some stuff, because when you're on the field, it's kind of interesting. And the paper is kind of white. Well, one of the most white I can have. Not exactly the whitest white, but kind of. I haven't used it for urban sketching so far, so I cannot really tell you. I think this one is a bit too large to go outside, but it comes in different sizes. I don't want to talk too much about this one because I know it's very difficult to find. Okay, third one is also Clairefontaine, but this one is easier to find. It's called Goldline. The paper is 180 GSM. It's a nice one. I have used it heavily for urban sketching with a bit of watercolor, it's fine, but you don't want to go too wet because the paper is not very thick. And what I really don't like about this sketchbook, I think I could say I hate about this sketchbook, is that the paper has different grains. So for example, this side is really smooth, but the other side of the paper has a tooth that is really different, and also I'm being picky, yeah. The tooth is not exactly parallel to the edge of the paper. The tooth is slightly tilted. It's annoying. Not a big deal. Yeah, not a big deal, but annoying. And I'm talking about features, but one of the main things you want to look at maybe is the price of the sketchbook. But anyway, this one is kind of not expensive. It has an elastic band. There is no pocket and no ribbon in this one. But the size is pretty convenient. It's a landscape format, which can be really cool. So yeah, good one, but my fave. This one is a Stillman and Burn. It's a beta series, and it comes in different sizes, different hardbounds. This one is a really hard cover, so pretty interesting. 270 GSM. I love heavy paper. This is the whitest white I have in paper, so if you really like white, this one is a good one for you. It's stitched and really it opens very flat. Love this one. They all open flat, but this one is really interesting. And it works with all kind of mediums. It works well with watercolor, I would say. I kind of like this one very much. It's a bit expensive though. And there is no ribbon, no elastic, and no pocket. So if this is something you really want to have, maybe it's not the good for you. Then I have this one, which is spiral bound, and it has its pros and cons. I personally don't like spiral bounds. This is why I only have one of it. Well, the good point is you can open it flat. The bad point is you can't have a spread across 2 pages, like here, for example, because you will have the spiral in the middle. This is also watercolor paper, very heavy. It's, what is it? Yeah, 300 GSM, very good. But perforated paper, I'm not sure this is the most convenient. And also this one is very heavy. This is the heaviest I have in my pile. And you want to check the weight of the sketchbook also before going outside. Another one that is kind of convenient to go outside is the Paint On by Clairefontaine. This is the one I'm using for the garden challenge, but you could as well go outside with it. And same as the first one, it has a ton paper, so not the best for watercolor, of course. But if you are using gouache or, I don't know, acrylic, I don't know how you could use acrylic on a sketchbook for urban sketching, but anyway, markers maybe. Could be a good one, but not very easy to find. This one is a Strathmore Series 400 watercolor paper, and it has its pros and cons as well. The cover is a soft one, very soft actually, but it's not hardbound, so it can be kind of difficult if you are working on your lap or something. But the paper is really heavy. The paper is, I think, 300 GSM, and it has a really nice texture to it. It's not hot pressed, but not cold pressed either. It has a texture and it shows very well with colored pencils. So it handles watercolor very well. If you are heavily painting with watercolor, this one is for you. But it has no ribbon, no elastic band, no pocket, obviously, on a soft cover. So you have to see if this one is for you. I have used it in this trip to Prague and it works really well. This one is a sketchbook from C. White of Brighton. Hardbound, soft cover, elastic band, a ribbon, and a pocket. Don't know how you come in here. Yes, and this is a large pocket. You can place a lot of things inside. It's really interesting when you are outside because you collect bits of this and that. And this one is really working very well with watercolor. This one, I think I took watercolor pencils with me. Yeah, it is watercolor pencils. That's the most convenient when you're outside, but anyway. It handles really well the watercolor. Well, yeah, I'm looking at this one and I think that, yes, it has a texture that is quite nice. Maybe in my top 3. This one is Hanemühl. I'm sorry if I'm saying it the wrong way because I'm not German. And this is a series that is called Nostalgie Sketchbook. And it has no tooth at all. It is really smooth paper. So if you like smooth, this is the one for you. The one I have is portrait orientation. You can get it in landscape as well. And yeah, it works with everything you want. Gouache, mostly. Watercolor, not so much because it has really no tooth at all. So it depends on what you are using for urban sketching. This one is Hanemühl as well. It's not the Nostalgie one, it's the regular one with a very thin fabric on it. And it has a tiny bit of tooth, very cold press, and it works very well with watercolor. Yeah, I love this one. It's a good one with elastic band, ribbon, but no pockets. I don't know if having a pocket is something that is critical for you. Can be. Okay, this one is the Moleskine watercolor sketchbook. It has the elastic band. It has a pocket. Yeah, large pockets. No ribbon. Hardbound cover. If you want me to tell you exactly what I think about this one, I think it's way too expensive for what it is. It has this heavy texture. Can you tell that on camera? And as I said for another sketchbook, the texture is not parallel to the edge of the paper. Yeah, I know, I remember. It was a gold line. But I think this one is cheap because it is what it is. And this one is maybe, the Moleskine is maybe twice the price of the gold line. And I don't think the difference of price is justified because, yeah, it's watercolor paper, but it's not as heavy as it could be. And no, sorry, because I know a lot of people love this sketchbook. Way too expensive, if you ask me. And last one is this small, cheap sketchbook. The one I have is Daily Rowney. It's very, very thin paper to me. It's 140 GSM. So the paper is warping, buckling, not adequate for watercolor. But at the same time, it's very light. This is the lightest sketchbook I have because it has only 20 pages. So 20 pages is also very easy to fill. It's a quick filled sketchbook. And sometimes that's interesting. So you can really fill it in a week or so. Yeah, and for a weekend, you can fill half of it. Might be interesting, unless you have a complete sketchbook for all your trips here and there. I don't know. I have customized the cover with sticking stuff on it. Yeah, not the best for watercolor. But sometimes it's a low pressure sketchbook because you don't feel like you are wasting something. It's so cheap anyway. I forgot one. And the last one was not the one before. This one. This one is a Stillman and Burn Zeta series. It comes in a lot of sizes, landscape, portraits, square, whatever, small, large, medium. This one is really a cute one. Love it because it's so small. It fits in my pocket. And this is a very white paper. Very white. If you compare to this one, for example, you see the difference of white? And it has absolutely no tooth. It is a very smooth paper, so it's not the best for watercolor. But the paper is very heavy, sturdy, I like it. It's 270 GSM, I think. So you can use wet mediums on it. Although if you are painting just with watercolor, this is not the one I would recommend. I think that the color is really sitting where it is. It's not diffusing very well in the paper. So for urban sketching, my top 3, because I cannot choose just one. I have to get 3 of them. This one by Dale Rowney, because as I said, light, easy to fill, quick filled, no pressure, fun inside, perfect for a weekend, for example. This one by Hanemühl, because I like the tooth of the paper, I like the white of the paper, and there is no pocket, but this is not a criteria that is so important for me. I think the ribbon is more important, and the elastic band is really important for me, because you can get your sketchbook very protected inside your bag. And this one by C. White of Brighton, it has a pocket, it has a ribbon, it has an elastic, and the tooth of the paper is okay, but the tooth of this one is better. So let's say 1, 2, 3. So if you want to have more information, I have a complete table on my blog article with everything you need to know about those sketchbooks, including the paper weight, the paper quality, the type of binding, the type of cover, the size in centimeter and inches, the weight of the sketchbook, because this can be an important criteria, the price, as far as I could find the price. It may differ depending on where you live, of course, and the direct link to get it. So if you want to get deep into this subject of urban sketching sketchbooks, you have the link in the description under the video. And while I have you, I have shown you different pages in my sketchbook, so which one would you like me to make a sketchbook tour with it? If you're interested in, let me know in comments. See you next week.